Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our base color. So I got a few more reference images. Since this is going to be the clean version, it will be more in the direction of like this. And this one is not very good actually, because it has like all the wipes. Maybe like something like this, and maybe like a tiny bit of like general dirt in between it. So we'll see, we'll figure out how it goes. First of all, what we need to do is we need to create our actual base. And for this, let's add a gradient map. And I was wondering if I can reuse this stuff over here. That might be possible. So let's grab this one, gradient editor, and let's move this over here. That is a nice thing about PureRef, that I can just have them both on one screen like this. And yeah, I think this one would probably be the best one, yes. Okay, let's go ahead and pick gradient and let's just do this. Oh, I can't see. Well, that's actually not too bad. That's actually not too bad. So let's see, if I have this, the only thing that I don't like is over here, these areas. And it seems like that they are coming from this place, so I can just click and drag. And I can select and I can actually just delete. And then I can slowly find, here, see, so I can slowly start finding the places where our colors are too strong. For example, I think this color is too strong, so I can always go in and manually edit it so that it fits a little bit better. Let's see, I think there's another color. I don't know which one it is. Is it this one? Yeah, that one is one of them, and this one is also a little bit too light. There we go, perfect. So now I got it all toned down so that it is not as strong. But it still looks good, so we have like a pretty solid base already. That's nice. Also, one thing that I forgot to do is that I kind of like wanted to add some extra specs to this. And I can just do this by adding a very quick dirt 2 over here. We've done this before. Just grab a dirt 2. If you want to go ahead and add even more specs, you can blend dirt 2 along with dirt 2 with a transform and just move the transform around a little bit and set this to max lighten, and that will basically just add another layer on top of it, and you can keep doing this until you have as many as you want. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to add a very quick blur high quality grayscale to give this like a tiny bit of like a blur, maybe 0.05, and I'm actually going to add a histogram scan in between, which can give me the option to reduce or increase the amount of dots. And now if I look over here, I can see like, okay, I want to like reduce these amounts, and I want to just go ahead and add another normal combine over here. And the reason I'm doing this now, well, one is I forgot it, but also because I can use it later on. So we got this one, and now it's just a matter of going into your normal and making sure that they are not too strong. So we just want to have like a few of like these extra specs sitting in here. Okay, perfect. So if I have a look at this, what I can see is you have a base, then it has like some general discoloration. You can also see the general discoloration here. It is not too strong, but it does have like a pattern in it. Now, once again, what I can do is, yes, I could spend a lot of effort getting exactly what I want, or I can have a quick look inside of Substance Painter if I have a grunge that I like. So we have a base color over here. Let's add a blend. And let's add a uniform color. And this uniform color, I'm going to probably pick something a little bit darker, like what you can see over here. And hopefully that will blend well. And now inside of Substance Painter, we can go ahead and we can go to our textures. And let's see, let's try to see if we can find something similar to this. But to be honest, it looks kind of like the charcoal that we've used before. Let's see, so if we go down here. You see, it kind of does look like that one. So we have the charcoal. Maybe some leaky stuff? Nah, probably not. So let's not do that one. Dirt. Yeah, we have dirt and dust over here if we want to use it. But that can be better maybe for our dirty version and not for our fairly clean version. Same with like some of the leaks. Ooh, the humidity one actually would also be quite nice, but let's wait with that. And just take your time. Just have a look around, see what you like. Peel. Oh, this kind of stuff. Like the grunge paper ripped actually is perfect. I think I'm going to use that one. Yeah, let's use that, because this one Plaster faded. Let's try to use one of these. So show in Explorer. So grunge, paper ripped, and plaster faded, which literally has the word plaster in it. So that is actually kind of perfect over here. So we got these two. Now let's plug this in here, and then we can basically just see if we plug in this one. Okay, maybe like set the color a little bit darker. Here we go. Okay, so that's that one, and this is the faded one. I think the faded one actually works a little bit better. So we can do the faded one, and then we can do the plaster one a little bit later on and give it like a slightly stronger effect. So I quite like this. And here we have the faded one. Let's go ahead and go into our colors and just like kind of play around with it. It does not need to be something super special. And I'm going to make it pretty much gray. Over here. The reason I don't want to make it too strong is because this needs to tile a lot of times. So if we press space, you can see that I don't want to make it too repetitive. I know that I'm going to blend it with more textures, but still be careful. So I'm going to blend this along with the color again. But this time, for this color, I'm going to grab my specks over here. There we go. So we get like some of these specks in between here. And see, this is the... No, I don't think we need to do anything more. As I said, it's sometimes tricky, but you really just need to keep this like really simple. And as you can see over here, even with just a plain base color, it does kind of look like plaster already. So I'm going to blend this once more. And maybe I'm going to add like a little bit of like a dirt effect. And just make it really, really soft for now. So let's grab like a... I don't know, like a base dirt color or something like that. Grab our plaster ripped over here. Here, so we can see like this dirt color. Now, one thing I don't really like is that right now, the shape, it is very similar. Let's see, if I play around with my seeds. Yeah, see? So what we can do for that is we can do the same technique where we add one and then blend it along with the transform of itself. Using max lighten. Or soft lighten. No, max lighten. And then if you push this around, you get like a slightly different look. And it should still be tileable. But now we got this. And now we can just tone down our opacity quite a bit. Just give it like slight dirt levels. Perfect. Okay, awesome. Our roughness, it's going to be pretty dull. So plaster is pretty dull looking once it gets a little bit dirty. If it is quite new, it can still have a little bit of a shine, but else it is going to be a grayscale conversion node of our base, along with maybe like 2 blends. And I'm going to blend this grunge on top, and I'm going to blend this grunge on top. For our base color, let's do a histogram range over here. Set the range all the way up, but just set the position to be down a little bit. And then if we add this color on top, but set the opacity quite low, this one will basically control most of our dullness. But that's why I make this a little bit more shiny, so that we can still get some shine through it. And then this one is also going to be a art, or maybe like a max lighten on top of that. Over here to make it look even duller. So we get, it looks very similar to actually the base color, as you can see. But this one is like a base roughness that we can maybe use. So let's save our scene and let's actually see how this looks. I have a pretty good feeling about it, but I often have that and then it turns out to be not good. So over here, already our normal map, you can see like the little specks, so that's good. Now let's go ahead and let's import our base color into the Albedo map and our roughness into the roughness map over here. Well, that's not too bad, if I say so myself. Let's have a look. So, yeah, I'm going to make my norm map a little bit less strong, and maybe I can make it a bit sharper. So most likely the sharpness, so the norm map intensity, I can go to like 0.6, and then the sharpness, I always do like a little bit of blurring here and there. Here, so let's get rid of that blur to maybe increase the sharpness over here. And then I have another blur over here that I'm going to set to 0.1 maybe, to also increase the sharpness a little bit over there. And this blur is actually fine. So let's try something like that. And if you want, you can also do the really cheeky method where you just like throw on a sharpen node with like a tiny bit of like a sharpen, like a 0.05, just to give it like that extra bit of push. But don't overdo it, because then it will look bad. It's just like something to get your point across. So over here, that's looking pretty good. Like we got some sharpness going on. We got a pretty decent roughness over here. Let's rotate my sky around. Yeah, here, see, so that actually gives me a pretty nice color, not too strong. So I'm actually quite happy for that, because remember that also inside of Unreal, it will probably not look as strong as it is in here. So I'm quite happy. I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just going to make my intensity a tiny bit less. Let's do -0.7. And that should be all of it. That should be fine. So let's save this. Yeah, there we go, see? So that's our clean plaster. You can see that it's old, it's worn out. And actually now I look at it, it does kind of feel... It feels not as bad as this one. But over here you can see like it has a little bit of like the same vibe to it. Although this one is a lot more stronger. So now that we've done this, what we can do is we can go ahead and clean up our graph and then create the actual dirt version. So over here, let's go ahead and add a frame, and we can call this base color. So yeah, this one is a lot easier than our tiles actually. And add a frame and call this roughness over here. Okay, so pretty much this is good for our base. We can go into our plaster. Oh yeah, we don't have anything exposed yet. I'm going to... Do I need to expose anything of this? Let's expose the normal intensity. And just call this normal intensity. And call this into the group normal. So this time I'm not forgetting to do that. I can also probably expose these ones. Expose and just call this normal lines. That should be enough. Into the group normal. And okay, so that one and the rest of the details, they are fine, because the rest gets controlled by the intensity. Now if we go in here, I can go ahead, and this one is already pretty good. This one, I'm not doing much also. So over here I can, yeah, here I can do this. I can expose this one and just call this dirt_01 intensity. Let's do this and just call this base color. And then I can also go down here, expose this, and call this dirt_01_ roughness. That should be more than enough. And call this into the group roughness. And okay. So we got now some exposing going on, with the default being the clean one. So now if we go to our presets, we can go ahead and create a new preset that we'll call clean and press new. And then I will also make one that I'll call dirty and press new again. So for our dirty version, I'm going to probably go ahead and let's first of all just have like a quick look at my normal and probably make my normal lines a little bit stronger. And maybe make my normal intensity a little bit stronger, just to make everything feel a little bit rougher. Then in our base color, I'm going to make my dirt that I already placed a little bit stronger. And I'm going to also make my roughness. It's annoying that you sometimes need to like click away. But let's also make my roughness like a little bit stronger to make it stand out more. Now that we've done that, I wanted to get like some kind of like a leaking effect also. 1 second, let me just quickly... Outputs, there we go. So the leaking effect, I really liked the one which is this one over here, the grunge height or grunge humidity. So show in Explorer, because I think that one will actually look really good, because over here you can see like a lot of leaking and everything. And also actually, by the way, some of those leakings I can also find. So first of all, let's import this one, some grunge humidity, and maybe if we want to then add some greenish. I can remember seeing another one. I think it is this one, like grunge leaks over here. Let's also show this one in Explorer. because this one also actually gives me off the general same vibe. So if I have a look at my dirt over here, what do I see? I see like some stronger color variation. Okay, but that's because this color is yellowish, or it is like beige. This is because they painted it, and it is basically showing the color behind it, which was the original, which was white, most likely. Or it is the other way around. Anyway, we don't really have that, because we have a white color. So our dirt or anything comes mostly from simply like the dirt sitting on top. Like I can add some white residue and everything, but it's mostly going to be this kind of dirt over here. So getting started with the first one, I'm going to add a blend. And actually this uniform color, I think we have too much dirt for this. So we are going to instead grab a gradient map. And can I just steal a B&W spots 2 over here? Because that's my go-to for dirt and everything. And then in our gradient, we can just go ahead and we can kind of like, let's see, gradient editor, just pick like a lot of stuff. Like that, see? Yeah, that's already fine. You know the drill, HSL editor, because I want to get it still quite close to that color, so I'm going to set my lightness down a little bit. Maybe set my saturation to 0.49, and let's see how that looks. I don't know if that might be a little bit too noisy. No, actually no, that should actually be fine. So we got these ones over here. And now we can also plug this in here at the top one. And use the humidity. And let's play around with my balance of the humidity. Yeah, actually, you know what? It does feel very noisy when I look at it. Let's set my random seed back to 1. So if it is very noisy, I might just be able to simply throw in something else. Let's have a look. Let's try a B&W spots 3. Let's try a clouds 3. Let's try a moisture noise, and let's try a grunge map 013 and just see which one works best. To liquid. Does look kind of sandy. Way too liquid. This one has potential. Let's use grunge map 013 and let's play around a little bit more with our balance over here. To basically try and get like a general feel for things. And maybe give it like a very slight blur, high quality grayscale. You can see the more that you do it, the more that it just becomes a mess. But if we give it like a little bit of like a softness over here, it does look a little bit more like liquid, but it should not be as noticeable. I'm going to also, by the way, duplicate my HSL, and I'm going to make this one a little bit darker. And maybe set my saturation to be a little bit duller to give it a slight color variation, just so that we have like a little bit of variation between these colors. See? So now I can just go ahead and I can, well, first of all, what I want to do is I probably want to go in and do another blend with a transform over here. And set this to max lighten, so that we give it like some general overall stuff. So let's do something like this over here. There we go. So this is like some general dirt, and it looks really dirty as you can see right now. And we can just then tone it down. But of course, what we can also do is once we have a nice value, simply expose it and call it dirt underscore 02 underscore intensity. You go in the base color group, and I'm going to also copy the name, because I will most likely also need to go in here, add a blend, plug in the same thing, and set this to be add. Set the opacity down, and then expose this and call this underscore roughness. There we go. And because I want to have separate controls of it, I do not want to just reuse my base color. So we now also got our roughness in there, so that's also good. And let's see. So now maybe add like a little bit of green So let's do like another blend. And sometimes you can use your HSL and you can play around with this hue to basically get like a greenish color, but it kind of depends. So you can try it out and else you can just use a uniform color. Anyway, for this one, for this grunge, I'm going to set my balance down quite low. And it's just going to give it like a little bit of like a greenish tone. So let's set my saturation. Actually, let's set my lightness up a little bit. My saturation maybe like down a little bit over here. Let's do 0.47. And let's move this down and let's do another. Let's see, let's play around with my balance a little bit more. And maybe do another one of those blends. I need to do those a lot all of a sudden. That's curious. But anyway, so let's do a max lighten over here. Throw this down here somewhere. And now you can see that we have like a lot of greenish goo. And I just want to basically once again play around with my opacity. And I can expose this and call this dirt underscore 03 underscore intensity. Oh. Intensity. There we go. Sorry, I'm bad with spelling. So let's go ahead and set this to base color over here. And let's blend this. Oops, also in here. Let's call this one art. And you know what, maybe this one we want to actually do subtract. So that it becomes a little bit more shiny. That might actually look nice. So expose. And just call this dirt 03 underscore roughness. Over here. Save. Okay, so we have a roughness, we have a norm map, and we now have a base color that looks very dirty. So let's go ahead and go in here and actually check. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to very quickly also look at this on my 4K screen on the other side, because it often makes quite a big difference. And when I look at it over there, what I can see is I want to make my normal intensity a little bit lower. And I want to set my base over here a little bit higher. And let's maybe also expose this. Base roughness. Okay. And yeah, I was going to make my norm map intensity on my dirty version a little bit lower. So we have a norm map intensity. I think I'm going to set that back to minus 0.7. And don't forget to just press update, because else it does not actually save your preset. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's already looking a lot better. And also what you can do is you can always just create like a quick screenshot to make sure that everything looks good. The reason I need to do this is because, as I said, I am currently recording in 1080p. However, in 1080p, everything looks always a little bit blurry. So I need to go ahead and go in here and call this one, I'll just call it image. And at 2K by 2K resolution, I can, for example, just press render image. And that's for me the easiest way to very quickly check things out. Now, I think I accidentally have like multiple cameras selected or not. It might be a case, but we'll see. So I'll just pause the video until it is done rendering. Here we go. Okay, so it was not more than one camera. So now if you zoom in, I can kind of like see the true resolution over here. So that's all looking pretty good. I quite like that. Maybe what would be cool is wherever you have the dirt, you can maybe reduce the normal a little bit, just to make it blend in a little bit better. And I think after that we are pretty much done. But for the rest, yeah, it's a pretty solid looking plaster material. So let's go in here and it is pretty much going to be, let's see, let's blend this one along with this one. Add a max lighten and maybe like tone down the back a little bit. I think this should already be enough. So if we have these two, what we can do is we can do a normal blend. And I mean like just a blend and not the actual normal blend, sorry. and a normal color over here. And then if you throw in your mask at the bottom, you should be able to control the norm map exactly where all of our dirt is. So the stronger the dirt, the more control of the norm map. I don't want to have it completely out, but let's say that I set this to like 0.7 over here, and then it will basically become a little bit less strong wherever we have our dirt, and then the dirt stands out a little bit better. And for the rest, if you just move around with your camera over here, that should be fine. So that's all looking great. I can save my scene, I can go into my plaster, and I can quickly go to the clean version and just make sure that everything is still correct. So in our clean version, we want to go ahead and we want to turn off dirt 02, dirt 03 over here. We want to set our base roughness pretty much the same. And our normal intensity is also staying the same, so that should already be it. So you can just have a quick look. Okay, and you can of course look inside of Mumset. And then you can see that now we have our clean version and we have our dirt version ready to go. So you press update and you save your scene. Awesome. So in our next chapter, what we're going to do is we are going to continue on and creating our polished wood material.